Hi, everybody. In 1971, I was a freshman at the University of Oklahoma, and I was happy as a clam. I liked all my classes, I was away from home, I was going to parties, life was great. And then I got drafted for Vietnam. And I knew that there was always kind of a vague possibility that this could happen, but in my teenage brain, I thought, I don't know, it seems like the war's kind of winding down, and, the chances are good I could get a really high lottery number, which would save me, and even if I did get drafted, I could always be a conscientious objector, and I would probably flunk the physical, so no worries. The war didn't wind down the way I wanted it to. I got a very bad lottery number. My application for conscientious objector was rejected immediately, and despite all my best efforts to fail, I passed the pre-induction physical with flying colors. And at the end of the physical, the sergeant said, "Congratulations, men. You have 60 days to get your affairs in order. You'll be hearing from us." I had no idea what to do. I knew that I could not be part of a war that I felt was unjust, but I also knew that failure to serve meant 5 years in prison, and Oklahoma was jailing Quakers and Mennonites and other pacifists with great enthusiasm. So, what to do? I quit school, moved back home, got a job in construction, and saved up about $150. After 60 days, I packed a sleeping bag and a change of clothes and some granola. And at breakfast, I told my parents that I was going to hitchhike across the United States. My genius plan was that if I didn't have a fixed address, if I just kept moving, the government couldn't find me. If they couldn't find me, then they couldn't take me. So my mom cried, of course. My dad said, "Get the hell out of my house. I never want to see you again. You are not my son." So I left, and 12 hours later, I was in New Mexico. So for the next 2 months, I was constantly on the move. I hitchhiked all the way to California and then to Florida, through all the southern states because it was winter time, moving hundreds of miles a day. My money ran out pretty quickly. I slept in cow pastures. I slept under bridges, behind gas stations. I ate out of dumpsters and garbage cans a lot. And then one day in Arkansas, a couple picked me up and they said they had just bought 40 acres of land in the Ozark Mountains and that I was welcome to stay there in exchange for work. So I said, sure. So I moved to the woods and I cut down trees, I put in a garden, I dug out a spring, I ate poke salad and wild onions and blackberries. Sometimes I would work whenever I could for neighboring farmers, herding cattle or hauling hay. I'd earn enough money to hitchhike into town and buy a loaf of bread and some peanut butter and jelly and maybe some fruit. I was hungry all the time. But eventually I was injured in a farm accident and had to go back to civilization. And I went back to school in a different state. I only stayed for a short time, and then I moved on to a different school so that I could keep my constant motion. And in 1975, the war was over. President Ford declared an amnesty for draft resistors. So I moved to California, and for the last 30 years, I've been a public school teacher. Thanks. without a doubt, that was the most difficult period of my entire life. If I could go back in time, knowing what I know now, I would make exactly the same decision. But this time, I'd bring more snacks. So, thank you.